Hey, everybody. Let's dive directly into a large question I was asked, and it is a very common question, one that I bet probably almost literally every single one of you has asked at one point. I know I sure hell has. And the question, it was specific about a crypto that I own and I like, which is ASM, assembleai. But this is a broad spectrum question that I hope I can help you guys all out with, which the question was, why isn't ASM moving? Why is it just being a pump and dump? Why isn't it moving like Onyx, XCN? That was the question. I might have moved around a couple of those words, but this is what came up to me. So when we have questions like this for any crypto, I want you to recognize a couple of things. One, it is very unlikely that it's just that one crypto that's not moving. We'll focus and see something positive, like see Onyx go up. Why isn't this one? This one's going up. Why is it this one? Right? I can tell you for a fact that a lot of crypto have not been going up, or they have been kind of very slowly. There's been several that has been kind of slowly up the last month, and ASM has not been one of those. I can also name you plenty others that have not, ones that a lot more people have heard of. HBAR has actually gone down a little bit in the last month, right? So there's different rhymes and reasons for this. And the short answer, though we can get into far more nitty gritty details for each example, not all crypto move at the same time. Some will stay suppressed for long periods of time, boom real quick, come down real quick. But there are certain characteristics of each crypto that should be able to tell you what the likelihood of that happening is. And I want to go into that detail today. I am going to reference ACM a lot because I want to help out this individual that asked me this a lot. But replace ASM anytime I say that with another crypto that you are or have been frustrated with. And let's see if we can get some better understanding so you can have an idea of, should I keep this token? Should I trade it out? Should I change my sell limits? And decide what's best for you. Before I dive in too much more into this, I need to talk about the differences of diversification and market caps because this makes a huge difference, right? Again, specifically for ASM, it's a micro cap. It's about 35 million, right? So the individual that I'm referencing that asked me this said this is his largest bag. And immediately I understood where the emotional drive's coming from because I don't want to call this person out because I don't want to come across teasing. I understand fully now why they are so mentally focused on it. If it's your largest crypto, it is a lot harder to not get emotional, right? I'm going to tell you, I'm going to look at as close to as I can in your digital eyes and tell you, do your damnedest to not get emotional. Make decisions when you're in a logical state. Otherwise, it is incredibly likely to bite you in the ass. Okay? So when you get emotional, step back, walk away from crypto, go touch grass, come back and think when you're in a more logical state of mind. It will do you a lot of good. But when it comes into things like market caps, this makes a difference right now, by the way, as to why ASM hasn't moved up. There's several factors, right? Market cap is very likely one of them. So real quick to give an example, I'm going to tell you guys what my crypto holdings are from my largest bag that I own the most of down to the smallest, and I want to announce what the market caps are. This is something I do for diversification because ASM or really any microcap realizes higher risk, right? So this individual has the largest bag in ASM. They're setting themselves up for a little bit more of an emotional journey because it is higher risk, but the reward, if it hits, because not all crypto are going to hit, guys. I'm going to be directly and blank with you on this. Not all crypto are going to do great. I would expect all crypto, except for a lot of the memes right now, to go up over time the next 3 to 9 months. But how far, explode, gain 10x to 100x stuff, not all will. Microcaps are they have the potential to more simply because there's less money that needs to come in to make a price action difference. Right? If you have something like ASM that's $35 million market cap, $5 million, I mean, that's a seventh of it, right? I mean, that will boost the crap out of the price. Where $5 million of Bitcoin, we won't notice a damn thing. Not a thing, right? So the cryptos I own in order for my highest amount, biggest bag, down to smallest in their market cap. Quant, which is at 1 billion market cap. Hedera, HBAR, 7.2 billion market cap. Render, 2.2 billion market cap. Arrow, 452 million market cap. Ondo, 2.6 billion. ASM, 35 million. Illuvium, 100 million. Foxy, 6.3-ish million. Right? So why did I just tell you guys this? Does it effing matter? Well, I think it effing matters. I wouldn't have started out this part of the conversation, right? When you have a larger market cap, it tells you a couple of very obvious things. The most blanket statement one is that there's more money involved into it right now. Crypto is a popularity contest. People who like it more will buy more of it. Crypto is a popularity contest. It has to be easy for people to buy it, or they'll buy something else. Crypto is a popularity contest. The more people talk about it and think it's good and here's good news at a good time, will buy it, right? So there can be great news, but if the market is in a bearish trend, people aren't going to give a rat's ass about it, which has happened a few times with almost every crypto that I just mentioned. Happened with ASM recently. It happened essentially yesterday with Quant, right? So, but did you notice I have far more of the large market cap coins? This is because I'm lower risk. I'm definitely not risk averse by any means, but I have my top 4 coins or top 3 coins are all in the multi-billions. 4 of my top 5 are. They're less likely to move as volatile. They're not going to get as big of potential rewards and gains down the road from it. But this is something worth noting. Also, the larger market caps move first, almost always, right? At least when we're talking about when the bull run hits, right? It is always Bitcoin and then Ethereum. In this run, it might be Ethereum, Solana, XRP, right? And then it goes down to everything else. Usually narrative pumps in general, like maybe all of AI will go, but it'll be the larger AI first. And then maybe RWAs will go, but it will be the larger RWAs first, right? And we had like the Dino Coin RWA pump, a couple of months ago. So when do I think ASM is going to pump? The best answer I can give is shortly after you see the larger AI ones, right? So when you see BitTensor Tau and Render start really going up, keep your eye on ASM, right? Because people look at these large market caps and think, holy crap, AI is really kicking it right now. Let's sell some of our Render and BitTensor Tau, move into the smaller ones before they hit. So what happens to the smaller ones? They go up because there's money trickling down. And then retail jumps in, oh, this is a good crypto because it's going up, which must mean it's good. Anyway, they put more money into it. And that's generally the way it works. So next, let's look at a chart for a couple of seconds. So here's the ASM chart. And again, I know this without a frustration when I was told that this is a pump and dump, when in all reality, it's relatively stable. Like, yeah, we're going to see these little jump ups here, but we're talking by 0.4 cents. Right. So, I mean, okay, it's about a set 16, 17% increase. Maybe your definition of pump and dump is different from mine, but it goes up and then it retraces back. And then it goes over here. It went down and then it retraced back. It goes up and retraces back. So I actually see this as relatively stable, which is still frustrating when you put a lot of money into one crypto and you're just waiting for that son of a bitch to go. And if we're looking here, my guess is, which it is a guess, is that though we went down and came back up, went down, as long as macroeconomic news stabilizes, which, again, I don't really think it will in the short term. I don't think there's going to be a rate cut, which will probably make things go down more because it's not what people want to hear, so they sell, whatever. But it's looking like it was stabilizing around 2.5 cents. Okay, cool and fine. Let me take a quick look at Onyx because I don't actually know what's going on with that. So just because the comparison was made, here's Onyx. Okay, so all right, looked at Onyx, had a huge boost. And then look, it stayed stable, right? Let's also point out something about Onyx because I mentioned about market caps, right? This is a $500 million market cap, 533. That's what, roughly 15x of ASM? It is number 104, whereas ASM was what, 651? So far more people know about, talk about, have bought, and can buy Onyx coin. Just for that quick little example. So for more comparison and fully, ASM is a $35 million market cap. Onyx, 535 million. 500 million more, right? ASM is an AI agent, which we expect it to be a large narrative this cycle. It just hasn't yet. Onyx is in RWA and DeFi, which we know is a large narrative, two large narratives this cycle, right? ASM is ranked number 621. Onyx is marked 102. ASM is on Gate.io and Coinbase, so there's a few people that can get to it. Onyx is on Coinbase, Mexi, BitGet, GetGaio, KuCoin, Kraken, eToro. Right? There's a lot more options and easeability and feasibility for people to buy Onyx. Again, large market cap, safer bet. ASM is more risky for sure. So it's kind of like comparing apples to squirrels. There isn't too much to hold on to the same for it, but it doesn't change how frustrating it gets. I fully am aware and understand that. So another thing I was asked was, what are my sell limits for this crypto? So that's something I haven't been overly shy about. I mean, I tell you guys a lot more than I need to, which in all reality, I need to tell you guys absolutely nothing. But I like letting you guys know what I'm doing to an extent, right? And the big thing though is the why I'm doing it, because none of this is financial advice, right? We have very different goals, risk. I mean, those are the big ones. How much money we're willing to put in the market, what type of investing we like to do, where did our funds come from, and all these things do make an impact on what I do at least. And I hope those are personal factors and makes a difference for you as well, right? So I was asked what my sell limits are. I'll tell you, because this is actually, I posted into the post section on this channel of currently my sell limit, my first sell limit for ASM is set at 14 cents. That is my first sell limit. I don't care what anyone else does, but that's where I have it. And you know what, guys? I'm not going to mention all my sell limits right now because I do have them on a spreadsheet, but realize they can change. And I might change them. This first one, actually, I've been thinking for a little bit about changing it. I haven't yet, but I might change ASM's first to closer to 9.5 to 10.5 cents. It's already hit 7 cents multiple times, and there hasn't been a huge narrative pump or anything with that. So I'm very confident it's going to blast way past 10 cents. Probably is the first or maybe the second pump, but I would expect the first real pump, it's going to go past 10 cents. So I might change my sell limit to there. But also, that's over 4x for me, right? I don't know when anyone else got in, but a 4x, I'm personally, with the way I invest, I'm willing to pull out some every freaking day of the week for a 3 to 5x. I have no problems doing it. Yes, maybe I could earn more, but most people earn nothing. So I'm going to make sure I'm on the winning table. So I might pull that back a little bit. And if that's the case, I will probably sell about a quarter of my ASM at a 4x, because then that's equal to my initial investment. And now I've got no skin in the game. Everything else is house money. I can't lose, right? But to explain a little bit to everybody, really, know what your situation is, because I don't want you to copycat my sell limits. So right now, my first one is 14 cents. I might move it closer to 9.5 to 10. I've got a decent sized bag of ASM, but most of it's from profit too. So I am far more willing to be risky with my ASM tokens, because the vast majority, about 80, I think 85% of my ASM bag was what I made from profits from selling HBAR or some of my HBAR months ago, right? When HBAR went up to hit like 37 cents, I sold a decent chunk of my HBAR, which I got a lot of shit for, by the way. I think it's weird. I'll never understand why people get so weird, angry, and emotional about what someone else does with their money. I can promise you, me selling my HBAR didn't affect anybody else, but dear God, did some people let me have it. And it was a great move for me because a lot of that, I took some profits and a lot of that started my ASM portfolio. So I feel I can be a lot riskier with it because it's kind of free money for me. That is probably not your situation or anyone's, right? We all have different boats. So don't do what I do, understand why I'm doing it, and then make a decision of what's best for you guys, right? Like I was de-risking my portfolio a little bit because I was getting a little nervous when I realized how much of my bags were actually on the medium and low cap sides. And I just kept seeing stuff go down. So when it started going up, as soon as I got profits, my form of de-risking was to move profits of my small caps into the larger caps, because then the larger caps are going to move first when we have the big peaks of the bull run. And I'll take those profits and I'll trickle them back down to compound the gains and everything. All right. So there's different ways you can do it. If you're worried about any crypto you have right now, I'll never encourage people to sell in the red, but it doesn't mean it's not a good move for you. That's for you to decide. But maybe next time you touch just a little bit of green, if you have a crypto that you're nervous about or you feel like everything else is getting away, take a little bit of green and then transfer stuff over. Keep a small bag if you want, but that can be an easy way of de-risking, of keeping profits flowing without losing money, right? But these are decisions for you guys all to make independently. But I'll continue telling you guys exactly what I'm doing. I've got no issues with it. Feel free to keep asking me. When I get the chance, I'll tell you guys. But hopefully it's helped some of you guys. Sorry, got a little wordy, a little longer than I've been doing. Apologies. But we all get frustrated when it comes to crypto. Every single one of us. How we deal with it is the biggest difference between who makes money and who loses money. So breathe, figure out what's best for you, make decisions when you're a calm, logical mindset, and stick to it so you don't go off tracks when we get emotional, because we're going to. Every damn one of us. All right. Hopefully, it's helped you guys all out. I'll talk to you guys again soon. Peace.